In this next portion of my market analysis, I'm going to talk about sectors and industries for my broad market analyses before I get into any stock selection and so on. So let's go ahead and get started. Once again, any stock, ETF, etc. that I mentioned should not be taken as a recommendation to buy. It's just this is for illustration purposes only and to show you what I look at when I do go in and analyze the markets. Okay, I'm back into the designer. I'm going back into the market analysis user groups. I have looked at this folder and this folder and this folder. This folder is the same as this, except I've added some sectors to it in case you want to use the warehouse view, and I'll do this quickly to look at under the HDSI index analysis. If you just want to get a broader look at the market to see how the sectors are doing relative to the broader markets. And this is actually very helpful because I can see that the energy index is on top. It crossed back over. It had a pullback and then it crossed back over yesterday. And I can see that this sector has been much stronger than the broader market indices because I see mostly red in here, whereas this is green all the way across. Remember, these are indexes that are all generated by HDSI. You really can't do this in any other program. The symbol is index, and it's pretty much spelled out what all is in here. Now, I'm just going to drop down to the HDSI sectors. I classify these as HDSI sectors because they're generated by the program. It takes all of the stocks, $5 and above, and gives the emphasis to the larger cap stocks. So I know immediately where the strength and the weakness is, and once again, this warehouse really comes into play. We can see longer term weakness and longer term strength just by looking at this. The percentage price change 1-day combo is still in effect. Now, if you look over here at the right on this view, and this is the top-down view, you can see advancers compared to decliners. Within this energy sector, it was 7-to-1 advancers over decliners. So this is another way, not just looking at the price, you can really get insight here into the number of advancers versus decliners. Or you can go down to number 3 where it breaks it down over here. Here's the percent advancer issues versus the declining issues, and the advancing volume divided by the declining volume, and so on. Here's the crossover and the VPOC. So these warehouse views are customizable according to what you want to see. I will check out number 3, but primarily I look at number 1. This view here is for indexes that are trading at least 100,000, and that doesn't come into play until I get into the indexes. I'm sorry, the industry groups. Now these are HDSI sectors by industry. This is handy to look at because if you change to the index group, it shows you which industry groups within the sector are the strongest, and I can look at this and see that the coal operation is up the most, 4.1% yesterday, up 6.5% for the week, and for 21 days it's up 12.3%. So that's where a lot of the strength has been. Here's the exploration and production. Once again, you can see advancing issues versus declining issues. Once again, if I want to look for stocks within these groups, I just change to the industry group and I can see where the strength was yesterday. Looks like Ramaco Resources was the strongest stock, up 13.9%. So I'm bringing it up. This is the chart from yesterday. Let's go down here to the 2C chart. You can see that where the move began on this with the 3 crossing the 6, clear back here with a pocket pivot. The 6 went above the 18 and the VPOC was already in place, but here was the big move yesterday. So this industry group, well, first of all, let's look at the stock here. It crossed over 12 days ago, right here, and the VPOC crossed over 13 days ago. Now I want to go back. Actually, I don't have to go back because I've got it here in this view. Let me bring this up. You can see that the group itself, Coal Operations Index, crossed over 14 days ago. So let's take a look at the group. And 14 days ago would be right here. The VPOC was positive here. The group is a group crossover, and it didn't quite come back down the 3 below the 6. But why I'm mentioning this is you can use these crossover days not only on markets, sectors, but also industry groups and stocks. These work out really well. They may not get you in quite at the bottom, but it's going to be close. I'm going to go back here. So this is the energy sector and the subgroups. So this is a good way to prospect also. Let's just do one more. No other index is positive. But let's go into the technology index here and take a look at it. You can see none of these are positive on the 3 crossing the 6. Just shows you how weak they've been. Okay, now moving on. These are just the sectors. Here's where I was, the sectors by industry, and then here are the industries. I'm going to just click through here. Sort on raw combo. You can see most of these groups are negative, which is a good indication about the state of the market. There aren't many that are positive. If I sort on this, I can go to the top and it shows that the office supplies, managed care, coal operations, which I looked at, marine shipping, these have all been strong. Now, that view, if I only want to look at industry groups that are showing decent volume, I'm going to click on this. Notice there are 176 industry groups in here. When I click on this, it cuts it down to 95. So even that coal index, which I was looking at, it has disappeared, and marine shipping goes to the top. Now, I don't use this very often because it eliminates a lot of groups that I may want to look at, just like the coal industry. But if you want more liquid groups, this is the place to do it. And then once again, this is the advancing versus declining issues. Here the numbers are right here, advancing issues versus declining. Index is up today, which is yesterday. 128, that's good yesterday. And only 46 down. So this is another indicator. Even though everything is down, the threes have not crossed the 6. This tells me immediately that it wasn't a bad day yesterday. Okay, so let's go back here to the top. I'm going to go back to the designer. And those are industries. These are spider ETFs. I'm not going to go into all these. You can figure out how this, or you just, same process. Maybe I will go into them. Sorry about that. Same process. Just look here. You can see how weak the market is because so many of these are negative. And only the energy sector is showing up. Now, since I've been doing the video today, the market, as weak as it's been, is pretty strong this morning, and the comp is up 1.1%. 0.12% right now. So I'm going to go into intraday mode right now. So we should be able to see quite a dramatic difference from what my end of day market analysis was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to enable the intraday, and let me look at my intraday options. I'll just use manual update, and then I'm going to update intraday now. And when this is finished, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rebuild all of the indexes. I'm not going to do a full update. I'm going to rebuild the indexes. So this is almost finished. And then I'm going to go into my designer under tools. I'm going to build all indexes, and I'll pause this video while these are building. It really doesn't take very long, but I'll just go ahead and pause. Okay, so I've rebuilt all of the indexes. I'm going to go into my Major Markets Plus folder, and I'm going to go to top down. Now, notice there's an end of day and an intraday. The reason I did this is because the NASDAQ internals information does not download until this evening, so it always screws up the price. If I have it on end of day, and if you look at the chart, you'll see this, and that's because the information that goes in the bottom of this NASDAQ chart in the windows is not available until end of day. So to get around that, I just came up with an intraday view, which is number 2, and sorted on raw combo and intraday percentage price change 1 day. You can see that Bitcoin has had a big move today. I'm going to look at on another computer. It's up $940 today on Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin Investment Trust, which is a good representation of Bitcoin. So you can see the SOX is up today, 1 day change, up 2.38%. So as always, when the market starts rallying, where's the first place that money flows? It seems like it always flows into the semiconductor indexes. So that's up 2.38% today. You can see how the market has changed just since I've been recording this. Now, let's look at the ETFs and ETNs. Most of these were red, and now we're seeing a lot of green in here. And look what's on top, the semiconductor ETF, the SMH, followed by the natural gas fund, home construction. Let's see what happened to oil here. Oil has dropped. It's actually down today for a change. But you can see just how using HCSI with Thinkorswim and doing an intraday update, you can stay on top of the market. Now, let's see, this crossed over yesterday on the commodity index. Most of these are still negative, but with the green coming in here, this is the intraday price change, the intraday change 1 day. I'm sorry, this is the intraday price change. This is a percent price change over here. So this is the actual price change. This is a percent price change. Now let's take a look at I want to go back down here to my market analysis, my broad market, major markets, industries, and sectors view, and then for HCSI analysis. These are all calculated when I rebuild the indexes, so I don't have to have an intraday view, because when they're rebuilt, You can see that this is the 28th of September and the last date showing through here. Because I did an intraday update and rebuilt all the indexes, this reflects what the price was or is since I rebuilt. And here we go. You can see the percent price change on the SOX, transportation, material, everything that was down, or not everything that was down, but most that were down are now up today. So pretty dramatic shift since I started recording this morning. Okay, so this is rebuilt. The semiconductor stocks are coming to life. Notice that after the rebuild today, there's a crossover signaled here, 0 for the 3 crossing the 6, and also the VPOC or volume point of control. Same thing, the small cap 600 and the Russell 2000 energy was already positive. So let's take a quick look here. Darn it. There we go. At the SOX, and this is my 2C chart. You can see that there have been 1, 2, 3 bullish VPA flags out of the last 4 days. And the crossover is showing up here. It must be just slightly above. There it is right there, the green dot. So there's the crossover. So if you want to go top down, you just change to the index group, and the percentage price change. This is 1 day yesterday. This does not include the intraday. So what I need to do is I need to go down to my Ron's Daily Prospecting and go to 1A, and these are the intraday prices right here. And looking at this, you can see that all but one of these are up today, and Micron reported yesterday, and they're down 4.05%. Here's the range, the percentage price change, the range. If I scroll over to the right, I can see which of these had a VPA flag yesterday, and you can see that several of them were indicating that strength was returning yesterday. If it says yes in this column and this column's populated, that means there was a VPA flag yesterday. And this is the prior day, VPA -1 or -1 day. So you can see that there was accumulation going on in this group. How do I know? Because of all these VPA signals. So out of 31 or 30, 31 counts the index, there were VPA flags. So let's just run through these quickly and take a look at these stocks. So here's Intel, VPA here. Global Foundries, look at these VPA flags here. There's an effort to rise. Some of these were starting to move already. Here's AMD, nice move up after multiple VPA flags. I guess I should maybe be using the arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4 VPA flags. Let's move on down the list. 2 VPA flags on Applied Materials. The smart money has been stepping into these stocks. Okay, let's move on down. More VPA. This was in a stronger downtrend. I'll just flip through these quickly. VPA flags, VP. The last 2 days. Money always seems to flow into these stocks first whenever there's been a correction. But the beauty of showing it off in HGSI, now I've gone beyond all the stocks that I think, no, there was a VPA, this is Micron, I'm sorry. There is a VPA flag here, but earnings came out and it didn't hold. But you can see a common theme in here. This is NVIDIA. These were under accumulation. Now going back to the warehouse view, if I sort on VPA -1, this was the day before yesterday. This is the index itself. It was showing 2 days of accumulation. This is a SOX index. And here is one with stopping volume. That would have been right here. This is today. This is yesterday. The day before is where this is showing up. Stopping volume. And I'll just do one more. No supply was showing up on Advanced Micro Devices. So here's yesterday, here's the day before with no supply. So you can see how powerful these VPA flags are if you pay attention to them. It just gives us an idea, or I should say it can give us an idea of where accumulation is going on. As I've said before, I'm taking a lot of time because of talking, showing you what can be done. I do the top-down analysis, and then I'll quickly go in to the top-down prospecting like this, and it really doesn't take me long at all. I do make heavy use of the crossover on the 3-6 because, as you can see, a lot of times most times it will pick it up early, both on the upside and the downside. Now I'm going to leave this video here and build upon this. I'll be doing several more videos about my daily process.